rain fell in sheets across the city, turning the neon lights into blurry halos that bled across my vision. I pulled my jacket tighter around my shoulders, cursing my decision to stay those extra 2 hours at the office. The weather forecast had promised clear skies. As usual, they were wrong. I ducked under the small awning outside my building and pulled out my phone. The battery showed 12%, just enough to get me home. I opened the taxi app and punched in my address, watching the little loading circle spin as it searched for drivers nearby. Request confirmed. Your driver is Marius. Black Audi A4. License plate KRV 217. Arriving in 7 minutes. 7 minutes. I could handle 7 minutes in this downpour. I scrolled through emails to pass the time, careful not to drain what little battery I had left. 5 minutes in, headlights cut through the rain-soaked darkness. A black Audi pulled up to the curb. I squinted through the rain at the license plate, KRV 217. Perfect match. The windows were tinted dark, making it impossible to see the driver clearly. Only a silhouette visible behind the wheel. I sprinted to the car, yanked open the back door, and threw myself inside. The warmth enveloped me immediately, but it was a strange kind of warmth, almost too hot, with a faint metallic smell underneath the typical air freshener scent. "Thanks for coming so quickly," I said, brushing water from my sleeves. "Weather's brutal tonight." The driver nodded silently. I caught a glimpse of him in the rearview mirror, mid-40s, heavy brow, dark eyes. His gaze met mine for a second before returning to the road. "Oakwood Apartments, right?" His voice was deep, slightly accented. "Eastern European, maybe?" "That's right," I replied, though I didn't remember telling him my destination. Must have been in the app. The car pulled away from the curb smoothly. Too smoothly, considering how hard the rain was coming down. The tires should have splashed, hydroplaned even, but the Audi glided as if the road were dry. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Probably my roommate, wondering when I'd be home. I pulled it out, 10% battery now, and froze. A notification from the taxi app. Marius is on his way, arriving in 2 minutes. My heart skipped a beat. I looked back at the notification, then at the driver, then back at my phone. There must be some mistake. A glitch in the system. Everything all right back there? The driver's eyes found mine in the mirror again. They seemed darker now, deeper. His lips curled into what might have been a smile. "Yeah," I lied, my mouth suddenly dry. "Just checking something." I opened the app fully, trying to keep my hands from shaking. The map showed my position, a little blue dot moving along the street, and another dot, the driver, still 2 blocks away from my office building. But I was in a car, this car, moving away from my office. I tried to steady my breathing. Maybe the GPS was wrong. Maybe the app was glitching. I had checked the license plate, hadn't I? KRV 217. I leaned forward slightly, pretending to adjust my position, and glanced out the side window to see the plate reflected in a storefront window as we passed. KVR 712. My blood turned to ice. The numbers and letters were reversed, rearranged. How had I missed that? Where are we going? I asked, trying to keep my voice casual, while my mind raced through options. Jump out at the next light. Call 911. But my battery was almost dead, and we weren't stopping at lights. Somehow, each one turned green just as we approached. "Oakwood Apartments," the driver replied, his accent thicker now. "Just like you asked." But we had turned onto Mercer Street, the opposite direction from my apartment complex. The streets were eerily empty. No other cars, no pedestrians, just endless rain pounding the windows. My phone buzzed again. 8% battery. "Your driver has arrived at your pickup location." I looked up and caught the driver watching me in the mirror. His eyes now seemed to reflect no light at all, like 2 black holes in his face. His smile widened, revealing teeth that appeared too sharp, too numerous. "Looks like your real ride is here," he said, his voice now distorted, as if multiple people were speaking in unison. "Shame you won't be getting in it." The doors locked with a heavy thunk, the sound of child safety locks engaging. The car accelerated, tires finally splashing through puddles as we headed toward the old industrial district by the river. Who are you? I managed to ask, my voice barely a whisper. I'm just a driver, he replied, eyes never leaving mine in the mirror, taking souls where they need to go. And where am I going? His smile grew impossibly wide, stretching beyond the natural limits of a human face. You already know the answer to that. The interior lights flickered and dimmed. Outside, the rain seemed to fall sideways now, defying gravity. We passed a street sign that I couldn't read, the letters shifting and rearranging themselves as I tried to focus on them. My phone buzzed one final time before the screen went black. 0% battery. In the last moment before it died, I saw another notification. Your driver Marius is concerned. Please contact him to confirm your pickup. The car turned down an alley that shouldn't exist, a space between buildings too narrow for any vehicle. Yet somehow we passed through. The buildings on either side stretched impossibly tall, their windows like watching eyes. We're almost there, the driver said, no longer looking in the mirror. His voice sounded distant now, as if coming from somewhere far below us. Your final destination. The rainfall became deafening, drowning out my thoughts, my racing heartbeat. Through the windshield, I could see we were approaching what appeared to be a tunnel, a yawning black mouth in the urban landscape, swallowing the road whole. No lights illuminated this passage. No signs marked its entrance. Just darkness beckoning us forward. As we plunged into absolute darkness, the car's interior transformed. The leather seats beneath me grew soft, then wet, then pulsing, like sitting on living tissue. The smell intensified, copper and rot and something ancient. I tried to scream, but found my mouth was suddenly dry, my throat constricting. The darkness lifted slightly, revealing we were no longer in a car at all. The space around me resembled the inside of something organic, walls that pulsed rhythmically, glistening with moisture. Why I had thought were leather seats now moved beneath me with muscular contractions. The driver turned around fully, and I saw his face had split open vertically, revealing row upon row of needle-like teeth descending into an impossibly deep throat. Where his eyes had been were now just empty sockets that somehow still watched me, boring into my soul. You're not the first, the thing that wasn't a driver said, its voice now coming from all around me, as if the very walls were speaking. And you won't be the last. Every night, someone gets into the wrong car. Someone trusts what they see without questioning. I tried to move, but discovered with horror that I was somehow merging with the seat. Tendrils of the material had penetrated my clothing, my skin, anchoring me in place. The pain was excruciating yet somehow distant, as if happening to someone else. What's happening to me? I managed to gasp. Digestion, the creature replied simply, but slowly, very slowly. Your fear is nutritious. Lights flickered on around me, not electric lights, but bioluminescent patches that revealed other passengers. Dozens of them, in various states of absorption, embedded in the walls of this enormous organic chamber. Some looked fresh, eyes wide with terror, mouths frozen in silent screams. Others were barely recognizable as human anymore, partially dissolved into the pulsing walls. One woman, not far from me, still conscious despite being half-absorbed, met my gaze. 3 weeks, she whispered hoarsely. I've been here 3 weeks. It keeps us aware. I felt a scream building in my chest, but my vocal cords were already being infiltrated, transformed. My phone, now fused to my palm, suddenly flickered back to life with impossible battery power. The screen showed a live stream from outside my office building. There I was, getting into a blackout EA4. But it wasn't me, not exactly. It was something wearing my face, mimicking my movements perfectly. I watched as this doppelganger smiled at the real Marius, made small talk, headed toward my apartment. Your life continues, the driver thing explained, its mouth chasm widening with pleasure at my horror. No one will know the difference. Your replacement will live your days, work your job, talk to your friends, and you'll be here, nourishing us, experiencing every second of eternity in perfect, exquisite agony. All around me, the other passengers began to moan in unison, a chorus of never-ending torment that I now understood would include my voice forever. In the city above, rain continued to fall. Taxis came and went, and occasionally, when the conditions were just right, when someone was alone, when the rain obscured their vision, when they were too distracted to notice small inconsistencies, another car would arrive just moments before the real one. Another passenger would step in. Another journey would begin. Dear listener, thank you for staying with me until the end of this story. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Many more terrifying, mysterious, and thrilling stories are coming soon. See you again very soon.